Hi, I'm Josh First here with the Valken Debrief, coming to you from the sunny Valken Ranch here in Colorado, and I'm being joined. And I'm joined here by Bob Zombie. So we're piping Bob in the kaiju from a remote feed. So hopefully we'll have that up shortly. Having some slight technical errors. So the dead guy. They're really cool targets. These are ones that I use on the shooting range. So I'm hearing we have no audio.
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
That should be fixed.
Okay. So we had an audio glitch. Can everybody hear me now? And we can see Bob.
Yay! How's it going?
See Bob and can hear me. Awesome. All right, now that
can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Bob.
Awesome.
Bob, where are you?
I'm in beautiful Utah.
Utah. Mm.
No, Nevada. I'm in Nevada.
Hey, he was messing with me earlier. I was going to tell everyone where he was, but he kept messing with me with the location. So, yeah.
No, I'm digging the zombie. That is hilarious.
And then we just superimpose your face over it. So it's like I have someone to interact with today because it's been a little lonely.
Oh, I miss you too.
All right.
All right. So let's get down into it then.
All right, for everybody just now joining us, we've got a couple topics to discuss today with myself, Josh First, and Bob, the kaiju. First topic of the day is repo gear or the real thing. So this is like kind of more of Bob's topic. So what are your thoughts on this, Bob?
Well, I always get this question asked to me when I'm at events or DMs on Instagram. It's, hey, we always get the, hey, what should I get for my first gun? But what about gear? And, it seems like, the one ending statement is it's cry or die. But not everybody can afford cry precision or more of the expensive stuff. And I think what's important is what I tell a lot of kids is, hey, it's got to, one, you got to afford it. Two, it's got to make sense. Don't put it on your kit just because somebody else does, because if you're never going to use it, I mean, what's the point, right?
Oh, I think that goes with, I guess the radios, because you have repo, reproduction radios and the real thing, whether the Mitbur, I don't know how they pronounce that, and bolt cutters to go with all of that gear. So I think too many players put emphasis on the kit more than like learning how to use it and have fun. Because I've seen kids that aren't physically ready for a kit like that, and then they don't have a lot of fun when they go out and play because it's not working right, it's uncomfortable, it's too heavy, and then then they start having buyer's remorse. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I'm completely happy, for example, with buying $30 Baofeng radios. They do the trick. They're programmable. And if they break, it's easy to replace. And and also too, when you think about plate carriers, I don't understand why folks have the desire to lug around real sappy plates. I mean, it's airsoft.
I did it once.
I know, right? It's
once.
I get it, but it's just, put sappy plates on in your plate carrier when you're training. Put the extra weight in when you're training. But if you're out there to have fun, lugging around in 100-degree heat with, another 20 pounds on you or 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's just asking for disaster with heat exhaustion.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't seem fun to me.
And you don't really Airsoft C3. We got Rich and Ryan on the road to Copperhead, I believe, and we're joined by my friend Spida from Poland. So,
nice, reaching all the way out to Poland.
From Poland, yeah. the guy is like an HPA wizard. So
Yeah, and going back to the plate carriers, it's are really people need plate carriers where they're going to be drug around under full weight, body weight? No.
Well, there's not a lot of like reproduction carriers that can handle not only the stress of the extra weight, but then you got the carrier drag rule that some events are going to, and then reproduction gear can still be pretty expensive. So you just kind of want to stay in your price bracket and then what you're going to use it for.
And I think that's important. Places like right up in Centennial, Life and Liberty Gear. Travis runs that, just north of us. And what's great is being able to go in there. If I want a plate carrier, it's right there. And he's got all these pouches. And he's just like, yeah, figure out what goes where. And, sometimes I bring in some stuff and want to try different configurations. And if you're fortunate enough to have a local shop near you to be able to set up, your gear, that would be cool too, because it would really suck. You order all these pouches, because I've done it before. Order all these pouches, thinking in my head I know what my setup is, and then I put it all together, and I'm looking at it going, this doesn't really work.
In case you're just joining us, I've got myself here, Josh First, and Bob Manor, remotely in from Nevada, and we're talking about a topic we're on right now is repo versus real gear. So we were just kind of talking about plate carriers and pouch configurations, and we'd mentioned this in the preparing for your first multi-day event. So many people's think because they have open pals or molly spacing that they have to fill it. That is absolutely not true. Something I try and do is run my right side with my sidearm slick, so absolutely nothing on it. And you need to think about weight, comfort, what are you actually going to carry, and general purpose. And admin pouches are great for stuffing things in, because you don't have to have a pouch for everything. So
I'm curious if anybody's sharing their comments of what chest rig or plate carriers that they typically run with. Anybody mentioning anything in the comments?
No, not yet. Let's see. 3-day Milsim, all the gear you're wearing. Let's see. Daniel, this said, is Fly considered repro or real? It is insanely high quality for me. Hasn't failed yet. I don't know. That's a very interesting question, because I believe Pantac and Fly are very similar if they don't come out the same factory.
I would agree.
I don't know. What do you think, Bob? Do you think that that's real?
I think Fly, Pantac, UR Tactical are all the same level. As far as mass production. Then there's you also have the guys that do limited runs, like really small runs of doing a lot of stuff by hand as well. But no, Fly is I think it's good gear. I don't think it's necessarily
this might be so. In the movie Lone Survivor, was it Lone Survivor that they contacted Pantac because they were the only ones still making an RRV, because they couldn't get hold of the original Eagle Industries. Yep. I mean, that's technically reproduction. Doesn't necessarily mean knockoff or what would be another PC term for it? Knockoff or a toy. So let's see. Toy Soldier. David Lee runs a Haley D3CR.
Well, I mean, Haley, that's I consider Haley, one of the top tier brands, along with Cry. I mean, you're looking at a D3CR is like what, $180 just for a chest rig?
Yeah, just for a chest rig. They're extremely versatile though. Condor gunner plate, foam plates, gets the job done. Pantac mini map on the back, and I run a Baofeng Nick Spade. Nice.
Oh yeah,
Pretty straightforward.
no, that's a great setup. Especially our Valken, there are new laser cut plate carriers. Bobby Wolves and P90 Girl got to run those this past weekend at Extreme Airsoft's Crazy 8 event, and they had a blast. And nothing failed, and they're running around doing their thing and having a good time.
Yeah, and I like the integrated pouches because the reason we did that was so that players just getting into the game could pick up a plate carrier and have storage for mags without having to pick up extra pouches for mags. M4 mags, sorry AK users, you can make it work, but it's not too comfortable. Let's see.
Yeah, and again,
from Kurt Corpy. Let's see here.
Oh, Kurt down in High Ground.
Yeah, I was just talking to him today.
What's Kurt have to say?
Let's see. What's your thoughts on just a chest rig, like the lock and load from LBX? I run, when I want to run just a chest rig, my go-to rig for recon or any extended type milsim games is the old Blackhawk RRV. The one that had the strike. So I've had that thing for like 15 years, and it's never failed me. But I think chest rigs are something that is often overlooked because everybody wants to go to a plate carrier, but it's BB Wars, so we don't need to have plate carriers. Chest rig gets the job done.
My preferred rig is a chest rig. I haven't worn a plate carrier in a while. Chest rig, it's light. I don't feel. That was another thing. Sometimes plate carriers, you got to cinch that thing down, and sometimes you can't breathe. You feel like you can't breathe sometimes, but I love it. It's lightweight because there's nothing on the back. I can just grab like a map pack or a small one-day assault pack and just throw it on my back with the backpack straps and go, or I can doff
Alan
it very
from
quickly.
Chris checking in. What's up, Alan?
Mr. Lau, Alan Lau.
Alan,
I love
yes.
that guy.
I know.
Him and-
Thanks for checking in.
I live vicariously through all his anime sharing his posts. So hey, we're about halfway through. Don't we got something coming up tomorrow on our Facebook page?
We do have something coming up tomorrow on our Facebook page. We're having a giveaway for our Phantom Agility gloves. You'll have to check in on our page, and there will be details on how you can win those. Very comfortable, very lightweight. They have like
Dexterity.
They've got a lot of dexterity. They're very cool, and they're great for indoor speed soft when you need a little bit of protection, but you really need that dexterity for fast reloads, pistols, anything like that in close quarters. And they're kind of they got a little flash to them, so all the guys out there that do their speed QB can have some tight gloves.
Cool. Yeah. So guys, check out our Facebook page, Valken Airsoft Facebook tomorrow. When that post goes up, you'll just be able to go in there, tag some of your friends, and you guys will have a chance to win a pair of our new Valken Phantom Agility gloves.
Yeah, you can check them out we have them in the comments, linked to our Valken.com, and you can check them out. They're really cool gloves. They're originally designed for paintball, but they have a lot of really cool features. I highly recommend checking them out.
Cool. So what else are we talking about today? Topic 2.
So topic 2. So just in case you're just now tuning in, I got myself Josh First and Bob Zombie right here. We've got him remote in from Nevada. He's currently on a business trip, so he was kind enough to grace us with his presence and President Bob.
People are freaking out that we're Facebook, we're live, but we're actually putting something out that's like broadcast news type quality. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Technology is awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, we had a little bit of technical glitch in the beginning, but we got it figured out, and he's here, and he hasn't frozen yet, which is awesome. So our next topic is upgrades that you can do without going into the gearbox. When I worked in retail, I did a lot of teching, and I had run into the customers that would constantly want to buy a brand new gun, and then they just want to upgrade it out of the box. Like, they have the money, or they're getting into it, or they finally buy their dream rifle, and they want to throw everything in it. And I would try. Of course, it wasn't really the greatest sales pitch for a sales associate, but it's like, go out, play with your gun, get to know it, and then when you get your upgrades, then you can see that performance delta. Otherwise you'll never see it, and you may never be satisfied with that gun. And the other thing is like, unless you're doing like a DSG or a DMR or something that you really need to go into the gearbox, there are a lot of things that you can do to your rifle that doesn't require like an advanced level of technical expertise. And the one, straight up,
go ahead.
Like what's your number one thing you do to a rifle when you get it, or you decide you want to upgrade?
The number one thing is I go for accuracy. I upgrade the inner barrel and hop up rubber. Sometimes the hop up, depending on what came in it, but that's usually my go-to, just so I can get some distance and accuracy without having to push the velocity.
Right. In the comments, that was actually something that I tell people a lot is, your FPS is a limit, not a goal. When I went and played, I took a couple alloys and a couple Aries rifles to my local field, and they all chronoed under 350. And I was still shooting 3.2s, 3.2 bios outdoors. But, they give me a little green tag. They tell me I have no minimum engagement distance. But, you put the right barrel and the right bucking and nub in there, and you can get amazing range. And that's all under 350. And, I didn't even have to go to 400. So the benefit of that is it puts less stress on the gun. And I don't feel bad when I shoot someone point blank. Are some of the benefits of that. So,
well, there's been a really big shift in tech work over the past couple of years, where previously, it was always about pushing the gun and getting more FPS, more FPS, more FPS. But now it's kind of gone the opposite direction.
Explain further. Explain, like opposite direction as far as.
Well, it's like when I was in Europe, it was all about getting to that 400, 425 FPS mark. Upgrading the spring, the gears, upgrading, everything surrounding the piston and the cylinder, and just try, high speed motor, high torque motor, whatever, to get it up and over or to 400. And I'm seeing a lot more guns today that are shooting well below 400, but they've improved compression, angle of engagement, and getting a lot more distance out of their guns without putting stress on the gearbox to get more FPS.
Well, that's kind of like reinventing the wheel, because I had a Tokyo Marui M14 SOCOM that shot like just over 300. But that thing was a sewing machine, and it would sail forever, stock. So I think that whole drive to changing the piston, the cylinder, all of that revolved around tune-up kits. And, the original Sistema tune-up kits were to take your stock, Japanese or Taiwanese gearbox and upgrade it to endure more stress. This is after you've blown out your nylon bearings and your nylon piston. And I think that just became like, after guns started getting more robust with pre-upgraded, I think that kind of carried on for a while, that people just automatically had to do a tune-up kit and get an M110, an M120, M150. I may or may not have had an M150.
Yeah, and those FTKs, I mean, they're not really mainstream that much anymore like they used to be.
Let's see. I'm guilty of having. Of course, the Mermaid would have all the upgrades. Yeah, we lost him.
Oh,
for
yes,
just
the
a second.
Merms.
Let's see.
Who'd you
Aaron
lose?
from Tap Airsoft. You need the speed, DSG, SSG, or pull out the good old V12. My man. Enjoying that new firmware update, Aaron?
Oh, yeah, Tap Airsoft. He's been doing some good stuff, too.
Oh, yeah, his 3D printed nozzles for the V12. That's actually really impressive that he can, I think, feeding up to 60 rounds. 60 rounds a second with a 3D printed nozzle.
And we've been seeing a lot more of that as well lately, too. 3D printed slides, nozzles, triggers, all coming off a 3D printer.
Yeah, 3D printing is pioneering so many cool things in so many different industries, and I think Bingo really started making it like the norm for consumer products that are 3D printed. But a lot of the Shapeways stuff that Aaron puts out is like awesome. That's not easy to like copy selector plates and nozzles and stuff. That's not easy. So let's see here. So
hey, Josh, I got a question for you.
Go for it.
When somebody asks you if they should upgrade the motor, what do you tell them?
I like to usually run motors until you've burned them out. And I'm not a huge fan of high-speed motors. I like something that's like middle of the road between high speed and high torque. So I don't recommend it right away, because when you get a motor that's overpowered or too fast, then you can start really chewing up your gears. I think a motor is the last of your upgrades you should do before going into the gearbox. I would highly recommend doing like converting from Tamiya to Deans before you go to the motor, because you could actually pick up 1 or 2 rounds more a second and get a more efficient energy transfer with a Deans connection instead of a Tamiya.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's usually typically, if I don't have lipos that are already pre-deaned, that's like the first thing I do is, pull out the little jig and dean those bad boys up. What would you recommend for like a inexpensive spare parts kit for people?
Spare parts kit. I would say a bucking, because those can tear. If you have a fuse, you need to have fuses on hand. I would definitely get yourself a de-jamming rod to put in a spare parts kit. And
a lot of people throw those things away. It's like, no.
I know. No.
Keep them.
Keep them. They're necessary. And maybe a spare motor. There's very few things externally that you can swap out, or that will even break or go bad. But
what about some silicone?
Silicone can be a good one. Sometimes people overdo it. Everyone thinks like either oil or aerosol. You have the two camps, and they think one works for everything. I recommend like aerosol for rubbers, because it'll evaporate. It doesn't penetrate as much, and a little bit goes a long way. And then you can use oil for different things, like that's more for gas blowbacks. When you're working with AEGs, I recommend I lean towards grease. But a little aerosol can of silicone is great, with a de-jamming rod for cleaning out dirt, debris, excess plastic out of your barrel. It's great for that. So how are we doing on time?
We got a couple minutes left.
Don't see Airsoft C3. Funny, I don't see Dean's conversion as an upgrade. It should be standard,
really?
Yes, but I think it's an upgrade for a lot of people. I think it's underrated and often overlooked, and it's definitely soldering is definitely a skill. Like not everybody can do it. It's an art. It really is. You got to have the right tools and the right stuff. Like you can't just grab stuff and do it. So I've I
Yeah,
always try
actually-
and upsell people into it. I mean, we sell pre-Deans batteries. I'm this close to getting like the pre-Deans gun pushed through, but it's just everybody's been asking for it, and it's one of those things that the entire industry is like just on the edge, on the cusp of converting.
I actually, when I was in Germany, and I have not been able to find them here in the U.S., but when I was in Germany, I actually got a propane-operated handheld soldering iron. So I just put green gas in that thing, and literally, it's about the size of a little bit longer than a vape electronic cigarette, and that thing is awesome. You just put green gas in the bottom, take the lighter to it, and lights up, and it heats up great. And that
Nice.
I have that in my little toolkit that I take with me everywhere.
I used to carry one of those, but then it became like everybody would hunt me down because, like, I hear you can fix batteries or Deans. But I think that's going to do it for our show today. Be sure to tune in next week, same time. Bob will be back, and
Yes,
it'll be right
I will-
before I head out of the
got you with
country.
that.
So be sure to follow my Instagram as well as Valken Airsoft for some cool stuff.
Oh wow, yeah, this is going to be interesting because in a few weeks we're going to be switched. You're going to be remote, and I'm going to be back in the studio.
Yeah. And as far as upcoming events for this weekend, I will be at Flatacre Farms in Parker, Colorado for Fox Airsoft and JTAC Productions end of season game. So they're winding down for their airsoft season, and it's the last game of the year. So we'll probably be going live from there. So be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram on that. So hope everybody has a great rest of their week heading into their weekend. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Josh First with Valken. This is Bob Zombie piping in remotely. I think he might have frozen. So I'm going to say bye for the both of us. You guys have a good one.